Was it a splashdown? Did it crash into the ocean?
Did it make fart noises while crashing?
Probably. That's when it took off. It's like.
Welcome to Tech Talks. My name is Ryan Epps. I'll be your host for this show. And as always, I'm joined today by Christian and Chris. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah?
Hey guys.
From UFOs to trillion-dollar evaluations, this week's tech news has been quite eventful. First up on the docket is Computex, Taipei's major computer tech show. Lots came out of the expo this year, but most exciting of all was NVIDIA's Avatar Cloud engine under its Omniverse ecosystem. The platform is set to streamline and enhance the way we approach AI assistants, video game NPCs with better lifelike reactions, dialogue, and more. NVIDIA also hit a $1 trillion evaluation on Tuesday thanks to its continued efforts in artificial intelligence. Our very first topic of the day involves NVIDIA LLMs and the projected savings users can see with NVIDIA GPUs. What can you tell us about that, Christian?
Oh, our first topic for today is NVIDIA is now promoting how much companies that want to train an AI LLM model can save when using the company's GPU. According to their estimates, the price of training their LLMs would drop from $10 million down to just $400,000. Ryan, does this mean that NVIDIA is banking on chip stock to be the next best AI infrastructure play?
Of course. NVIDIA has long been pushing bounds in artificial intelligence, and it's aiming to almost be the one-stop shop for it. And we talk a lot about meta and metaverse concepts, but NVIDIA is really pushing into those kind of territories with its artificial intelligence and investments into that field. I mean, it really is aiming to be like top of the line when it comes to any of this digital cloud infrastructure. And sure, we may know NVIDIA most primarily for GPUs and components, but that's where they kind of are using that stream of revenue to bolster its other fields, like projects like ACE, Avatar Cloud Engine. It's interesting. It's an interesting time we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these companies are, like we've seen the same thing with the rise of metaverse.
Yep.
Right, where companies were like emptying the bank to get in on this.
Meta especially.
Yeah, especially like I know like Nike dropped like billions or something on NFT for designs for so. And I honestly, I mean, we've talked about this probably every episode, but AI is unlike the metaverse, which is a slow roll type deal. Like it's not really taking off. AI is took off like a rocket, you know what I'm saying? And it's not going anywhere.
It's interesting. It's like NVIDIA has kind of bundled them together. Like I said, like cloud, AI, and metaverse. In NVIDIA's eyes, they call it the Omniverse. That's their little ecosystem when it comes to any of this type of stuff. And it's just fascinating how much how important it is to them. Because it makes sense for places like Meta or even Epic Games, right? Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, huge proponent of the metaverse. But you don't really see where AI can kind of help NVIDIA, right? It's like NVIDIA AI. It just kind of doesn't like compute really, right? On surface level. But they're making headways, man. They're changing the way we can look even at just streamline, like using AI to just better just everyday tasks when it comes to enterprise stuff. So they're doing a lot in that field, and clearly they want to be like the top dog in this field. And they given their $1 trillion evaluation on Tuesday, it's like they're pretty much already there. They're already like one of the top players when it comes to artificial intelligence, and it shows for sure.
Yeah, I'm quite curious. Are they going to be building their own chips for this?
I wouldn't be surprised, though. As far as we know, we only really know, so much.
Yeah, because they're going to be cutting the cost, right, by a significant margin.
Yeah,
To
by a
get
lot.
that
What's so what was it?
like from 10 million to
To 400,000.
400,000.
Yeah, that's
That's
insane. It's
a huge
incredible.
number.
It's incredible. Oh, but again, this is NVIDIA talking. So how much of that is true? We don't know. Like it's all projected and it's all estimates. And
Mm.
when it comes to NVIDIA, I don't know. Like a lot of it's just PR talk. NVIDIA loves to kind of stroke its own ego and similar to Elon Musk. But yeah, I don't
And all of this
see
is through, yeah,
what's
all of
that?
this is through ISO, right?
Hmm?
Everything is through ISO.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
Interesting.
in the AI arena,
Mhm.
right? Like, is this isn't really even big money, right? Like right now, this is just maybe a healthy investment, right? Like it's not even like, oh shit, they're going all
Yeah,
in.
it would depend if they create the standard for it, if they are the ones.
Mm.
And
Be
it
big
seems
money.
they're kind of at the they're the ones building the doorway into it, if that makes sense, right? Like they're definitely, I don't know if they're at the forefront of it. Like there are definitely a ton of other companies that are, I mean, hey, OpenAI, right? I mean, there are a ton of other companies that have the know-how and have the investment, have the investors to kind of continue innovating. Um, Even Google's Pal PALM. Um, but NVIDIA wants to, beyond just generative AI, beyond machine learning, it wants to revolutionize the way we look at just enhancing everyday tasks. I don't know. We're getting to a point where all these tech companies are going to pour so much money into AI, and we're not going to have to do anything. We're not going to have to do anything. Everything's going to be all AI assisted. People are going to be calling us, and it's going to be AI essentially. Uh, Even our assistants will be artificial intelligence one day.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't
Um,
NVIDIA in the crypto space a few months back?
I'm not sure. I don't know about that.
I think they
I wouldn't be
built something for
surprised.
crypto.
I mean, people use their cards for mining all the time. Yeah. Crazy world, a crazy world we're in now.
Yeah, it's exciting, and to because like we there's discussions, right? Like generations or whatever, like what you witnessed happen. Like for my generation, like I remember I was in high school maybe, um, or at least about to go to when the internet came through, like and
Yeah.
became like, you know, um, so there's I have a memory of a time before internet. I remember before cell phones. Whereas, now this generation that is, they'll be having the same conversation in 20 or 30 years talking about, I remember before AI, we had to,
Yeah.
we had to call the doctor ourselves or something, I don't know. Like,
Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah. Uh, I mean, there's so many different ways that AI can be integrated in different things.
Yeah.
Uh, but NVIDIA clearly sees a route when it comes to cloud-based infrastructures and then the metaverse. And though we don't really know how that'll look in the long term, uh, we do know they're pushing bounds. That's for sure. We do know that they're innovating, and their continued investments in AI. I mean, again, they reached $1 trillion in evaluation solely on the heels of AI and their continued pushes in the realm. So if anyone's gonna innovate in that field, it's them. It's NVIDIA. I mean,
Yeah, how
everyone's,
much of this do you think is in response to what AMD's been up to over the past couple of years, like being in
hmm,
contract with big players
a
like
lot,
NASA and even getting development backing from the White House?
a lot, a lot. I mean, it's dog eat dog world, and AMD and NVIDIA have
Mm.
been going head to head for a while now, especially when it comes to obviously their GPUs. But again, AI is pretty much kind of controlled by NVIDIA at this point. I mean, not controlled, but essentially the investors understand if you want to get into AI, you invest in NVIDIA, right? That's like kind of where we're at now. So,
But it is kind of weird of hearing that name associated with this field,
it is.
right? Because they were mostly known for gaming back then. And I
Yeah,
think gamers are actually feeling slighted right now.
for sure. We
Because
talked
all
about
of a sudden
this
they're
a
lost
bit
in
before the
focus,
show.
right?
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean, even their current cards, like the RTX 4060 Ti and the 40, oh, well, the 4060 is not out yet, but the 4060 Ti released, I believe, last week, and yeah, no one's buying it. No one cares. And that's not usually the case. I mean, I don't really know the numbers of the 4070 Ti that also released a couple weeks or about a month ago. So similarly, I doubt that even got that many hits because both cards don't have really good metrics. The 4070 Ti is tailored to 1440p, and it's not even that really good. And the 4060 Ti is 1080p gaming at 60, I believe, or maybe better. And for $400, $500, no one's trying to spend that much money. What's that?
They did slash the price based from the reaction, like NVIDIA. Actually,
Did they? I don't know. I know AMD cut the price of one of their cards, the RX 7600. I know AMD cut the price of one of their recent cards in the face of NVIDIA, right? Because they saw that NVIDIA released its card at a pretty high premium. A 1080p card for $300, $400. Like, no one's doing that. No one's buying that. And no one is. No one's purchasing.
Yeah, the RTX 30, I think, received a price slash.
Oh, it did. Wow.
Like I think
there you go. And about how much does that help? I doubt that's going to help very much. But
yeah, based from the reaction from Computex, I think people have noticed that there's not much anything about gaming during Computex for these two cards.
PC peripherals,
brands.
Yeah,
none. There wasn't.
Isn't that interesting? It's like and NVIDIA hearkened so much on AI. Like it's all they talk about. Where were the GPUs? Like, where's the innovation in GPUs? It's a great point you bring to the forefront here because, as you said, if you're a huge NVIDIA fan and you're waiting for the next best thing, next best card, you're trying to upgrade, you're definitely going to feel slighted right now because clearly all of their attention is now on something else that won't really help you right now. AI, how is that? I want a new GPU. How is that? I feel for them.
I think they either overestimated how much they're actually selling over the pandemic, how much people are actually buying out, and with
NVIDIA is always because people buy. It's like Rockstar Games releases GTA 6. Who's not going to buy that, right? Like the NVIDIA is well known to be. If you drop a card, people are going to buy it. The 4090, the 4080, those cards sold out instantaneously, almost in minutes. So their thinking is we can price these however we want. People are going to buy them no matter what. But that's not the case anymore, especially with the recession, economic stuff going on right now. Just overall, people aren't buying stuff. So
there's a microchip shortage, right?
That too.
So are they just trying to go into AI because they're seeing that they might incur losses if they continue this field?
I don't think
so. GPU, and they're swimming to another stream.
NVIDIA has long been associated with artificial intelligence, and sure, they're more well known for their GPUs and that type of stuff, but they have long invested manpower and money into artificial intelligence for several years now. And I think it's only just becoming kind of, the cultural zeitgeist has kind of latched onto this artificial intelligence thing. So that's why people are now talking about it more, if that makes sense, right? But they've been in the artificial intelligence ecosystem for years. And crazy.
I think it's to the point where like any company that's in any tech company right now is like strike while the iron's hot.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And
not even necessarily tech companies. I mean, we have you have consulting companies, you have I think law firms, the medical, this is seeping into every aspect of life.
Yep.
And for a major player like NVIDIA, I mean, people, if they didn't do this, then in a couple months or maybe a year or so, we would be sitting here talking about why did NVIDIA miss this boat?
Yeah, great point. It's a great
You
point.
know, I
It
mean,
was
Yeah,
yeah,
short time ago that Intel had a monopoly when it comes to the chips, right? Like all
yeah.
of a sudden, NVIDIA is actually sneaking in, like telling someone that your GPUs would be this much cost effective and much more efficient than a couple of CPU servers.
Mm.
That's kind of weird, a weird
yeah,
statement to make if you're not asking for competition.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I think they see like, I can't off the top of my head name a more competitive market right now.
for sure.
Like, you know, everything else is like, you know, I mean, anything you think of food, like, all right, whatever that's covered, like nothing is being innovated and progressing and advancing anywhere near what's happening in tech.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and artificial intelligence is just going to keep getting better. And clearly, it's interesting because, like, last year the talking point was NFTs, the metaverse. This year it's AI, and it's crazy how fast and how in your face AI has become.
Mm.
To the point where it's like almost a little annoying. It's like, okay, we don't have to talk
Yeah.
about this all the time, right? But it is. It's now like kind of just seeped into our daily lives. And while the metaverse may not be as sexy or exciting as AI is
Mm.
currently, I mean, hell, Meta just announced the Quest 3. So clearly there's some stuff going on with metaverse stuff too. It's
Right.
just a little bit less exciting and a little less innovative as AI is right now. But
Right.
once they all come together, which NVIDIA is doing, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be crazy to see how much everyday people adapt to this new world with AI. How much people actually pick it up.
Mm.
You have like older generations now who are just learning now really how to like text message and stuff. Like my
Right.
parents text me and like they don't really get like text culture or like texting and stuff like that. It'll be interesting how like these older generations get to know
Yeah.
AI in the future and how they approach it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
that's a good
technology
point. Like,
is moving too fast for
It
anyone
might
to
be.
actually, because
It
if you
mm.
might
think
be.
about it, this isn't the first time that we're experiencing this kind of changes,
Yeah.
particularly for AI. I think it moved too fast. Like it skipped a few levels when it comes to people being accustomed to it, that no regulations are actually being placed. There not a lot of time is being given for people to actually process it, as well as certain rules to be set. And for us to be thinking about certain GPU companies coming into the picture and doing this, it's more like a general thing now.
Yeah.
Mm.
What I said when it comes to gaming, and NVIDIA is known more for gaming, and in a
That's
sense
true.
of context that actually featured any gaming thing. Now there's a viewpoint that all of the other companies are thinking this way, that this
Mm.
is the direction that they might likely go with for the next few years.
It's
That
and
they see a
that's
new market and they're targeting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even video game companies are picking up AI. There was a recent game release where people are a little annoyed because they used artificial intelligence to make the poster, or yeah, to make some of the art. And that's like that, that's like going to be a topic of discussion that people are going to have. And is it ethical to use AI in certain
Mm.
workflows, whatever it be? It's how people are going to approach this regulation wise. It'll be also very scary and interesting. How much the government's going to crack down on it. Will they have to limit how NVIDIA's reach? Will they have to limit the
Mm.
OpenAI's reach in some way? Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
Crazy.
I don't see the government being able to regulate anything. They're still trying to regulate social media.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how to do that. And it's
Yeah.
we've had social media for, I mean, if you go as far back as, I don't know, Friendster or MySpace or something, like it's been around for a while now, and they still don't know what the hell to do with it. So
Good point.
AI, it's like I mean, you can imagine, right? Like, hey, you're trying to fix this one thing, and then somebody's like, hey, can you do this too? And it's like, man, like I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So now this is something completely different, much more complex, moving a lot faster. So the government's just going to be, pissing in the wind with trying to regulate anything, really.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. I mean, especially the U.S. government, right? Specifically.
Especially, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. They can't regulate them damn selves, much less something they don't understand.
But while NVIDIA keeps pushing bounds in AI, NASA takes us to the stars with its recent talks on unidentified aerial phenomena. What can you tell us about that, Christian?
Yeah, our second topic for today. NASA officially conducted the first ever discussion in UAPs for unidentified aerial phenomena. The International Space Organization launched a study specifically for unexplained aerial sightings. A year after this research began, NASA finally held the first public meeting on UAPs. Chris, what do you think is the advantage for opening up this discussion?
UAPs. Can we like why? Why?
UFOs, right?
It's a rebranding, UFO is when you hear UFO, you think tin hat, right? So they've rebranded the whole thing. And what was the question?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of.
No, you're good. You're good. I
Yeah,
think
what
I
do you
know.
think is the advantage for opening up this discussion?
What is the
Oh, I
advantage,
mean,
right? Yeah,
what's the advantage?
getting
Yeah,
ahead of
Uh,
it. I mean,
we said before, right?
I mean, man,
Just under a different name.
I'm such a skeptic when it comes to anything that the military, or not the military, the government does. Um, I feel like they're saying, "Oh, this shit is real," so it's a perfect cover for testing high tech, new high tech equipment that nobody's seen. You know what I'm saying? Like this
interesting.
is the way my
Interesting.
mind works. It's like,
I like
hey,
that
this
take.
is this is real. Like, yeah, UFOs are real, guys, and then they're up here testing like supersonic fucking drones, and the masses, or even not even just the masses, our enemies overseas, or our adversaries or whatever, those that
Yeah.
don't like us. I mean, it kind of gives you like the whole cloak of oh no, that wasn't our military equipment, that was something from outer space.
Uh, I have a question. Especially even to the audience too. Do you guys believe in aliens? Do you guys
Yeah,
believe in other beings?
fucking 100%.
Christian?
I could believe it if it's here. It wouldn't matter to me if it's not.
Yeah, so like my perspective is think about like on a grand scale, think of the cosmos, think how large it is. Like you're telling me there's not another form of life, whether it's microscopic or what,
Mm,
that lives out there. Like there's definitely aliens to an extent, or other types of beings out there. So it's not anything new is my thing. It's like clearly there are and we have historical pieces of evidence pointing to other UFOs, this and that. I mean, how about what was it, a year ago when the military dropped that one
mm,
video? Do you remember this of the jet
yeah,
that
the
saw a
pilot.
UFO? I mean, like come on, like it's like almost pandering at this point to us. Like, yes, we know UFOs exist, and we know you guys have evidence of it, and
Mm,
it's more so them kind of covering their tracks. I feel like to an extent, too. I think you had kind of hit the nose on the head there with them just getting ahead of it, getting ahead of
right.
the if any information comes out, they just want to ensure that people don't freak out, I guess. But I feel like, I mean, for the majority of this call, three of us, we all
Mm,
believe aliens exist, and I bet for the majority of viewers, people believe that aliens exist. It's like it's hard not to. I feel like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, the universe is so big, it's been around for so long. And how long have we been around for? What is it? A couple,
couple
I
billion,
don't know. Have we
a
been
little
here?
less
We've not
actually,
been,
a couple hundred
yeah,
thousand, right? 100,000 years, I
yeah.
believe,
Because
give or
some
take.
100, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but so the universe is what, 8 billion years
Wow.
old or something. Right. I think the universe
About
is 8 billion. I
yeah.
should know this. And
No.
yeah, and Earth life on Earth is only a few million years old, maybe I think. So and you look right now, right? Like as fast as our tech is advancing, just as of the last decade or the last 20 years. Imagine a society or whatever that had 100,000 year head start.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like where will we be in 100,000 years? Jumping through galaxies? Probably.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I won't. Yeah. Hopefully, I would love to be here for that shit. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not only likely that there are aliens, it's almost a no-brainer for me. Like, and whether or not they visit us, I heard this thing where like they said I read this thing where it's like they don't interact with us because it's kind of like if you try to interact with an ant,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like you just there's no linear communication here. They're way too advanced.
Yep.
And they just kind of look at like I you watched an ant carry this thing. I was like, damn, how's it carrying that half a banana up this wall? And they're looking at us like, damn, how do they have bombs and stuff? Like, look, they're so stupid. How do they do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, being under a monarchy helps you carry a banana up the wall.
I don't know. That was a terrible analogy, but you know what I'm saying. I've never seen an ant carry a banana up a wall, but
The thing with this for me,
oh,
I
ahead.
don't know about the policies when it comes to the agencies there in the US, but it could open the door for if some of them are being silenced that they want to discuss this thing. It could also be about privacy. Like this would
Yeah.
actually open the door for further discussions and research that
It's
they
one of
wouldn't
those
have been
it's
able to do.
it's one of those hard lines that they don't want to cross. They don't want to cause a mass panic. Like, oh my God, aliens exist. They don't want to cause a mass panic, but they also kind of want to get ahead of anything that may happen.
right.
It's one of those weird, like, I don't know. It's one of those weird conundrums where do you want to outright just say UFOs exist and aliens exist, or can we kind of just, let's ease into this a little bit. Let's
Right.
start with UAPs, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
timing
yeah.
of this is actually pretty weird, right? After the entire Chinese balloon thing, all of a sudden
Yeah.
this.
Well, I don't know. They've been kind of hinting at it for a couple years now. Like they came out. I don't know if it's a year or 2 years ago, but they gave like a half-ass like admission where it's like, oh yeah, we've had a UFO investigative body or whatever in the Pentagon since the 50s. Like they said some shit like
Yes.
that a few years ago.
I remember that.
So, yeah, so it's kind of like the dip in the toe in the water. No, this was during the pandemic.
I remember that.
Because I remember the conspiracy theories where it's like, oh, they're kind of sliding this alien information like under all this panic of a pandemic. They're kind of just now it's like
Gotta tiptoe around it.
This.
Gotta tiptoe around it a little bit and drop little bits here and there. But it's like the other thing is too, NASA knows we're not idiots, right?
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, but NASA knows the populace aren't a bunch of idiots. So clearly people know that, UFOs exist, or to an extent there are unidentifiable aerial phenomena, as they want to call it. So it's like, just admit it, right? Just come out and let's talk about it. I think that's like kind of good for them, right?
Yeah.
They should do this more often.
I mean, they already tricked us once with the moon landing, right? So bullshit. Just they're like, we got away with that one. Let's try not to hide the alien.
My grandfather went to his grave believing that was faked.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't believe it. And like, think about it. Like, however old he was when that happened, right? However old he was when that happened, it's kind of like watching a movie. them.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they didn't even have color TVs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you're putting people on the moon. I can understand. I can understand the skepticism, and I love that type shit where it's like, I don't know. And I can just imagine your grandpa being like, no.
No shot. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And, to their credit, it's like, it's hard to believe that kind of stuff. It's like legit life-changing to an extent. Like, even if they weren't involved at all. And this stuff is life-changing to most of the people that may not want to believe that kind of stuff. I'm genuinely curious. Like, if you how many people, if leave in the comments if you believe in aliens or not, if you believe in UAPs, if you believe UAPs are a thing. I'm curious if like how many people actually do believe in it, because most of the people I ask do. They're like, yeah, how could you not, right? But I'm genuinely curious if there are any skeptics out there, and like what would the reasoning would be like. Yeah.
And
I was wondering why this never actually came up the ground before. No pun intended. Like, is there any concerns regarding the apparatuses that they will be using? Like, they have access to the entire planet when it comes to snooping around people's backyard. They will need to do that to investigate these things. Is there any concern that they might invade someone else's privacy while doing this? I think that's one issue they would encounter.
Well, that's where
it's hard to regulate that, right? It's like, how do you regulate that? Or how do you, like, like, sure, people can be concerned about that, but what, like, if they're a different race of beings, what are you gonna do? Like,
well, I think the invasion of privacy in the name of investigating extraterrestrial whatever, this has been going on. Like, look at Bob Lazar, right? They almost ruined his life. All he said was,
gotta talk about Bob Lazar.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Bob Lazar is the OG of aliens are real. I seen the shit. Like, and you've seen it in movies, and we talked about this before we started rolling. That these movies, I believe movies like this are produced so that when shit really does happen, they can blame it on, like, it's not that, this is the real world. But like, even in movies, every time you see like an alien, somebody says, I was abducted by the Men in Black, right? They're real. It's not Will Smith either. They're real.
Yeah, so Abraham Lincoln could really be a vampire hunter, right?
And Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter. Absolutely.
Wait, so Men in Black, did you have proof that that this is like a real thing? Or are you just saying that because the FBI, like the FBI is the Men in Black, right? It's supposed to be like the FBI, right?
Well, I mean, I have as much information as any other normal person, but like, you see the videos on YouTube where, like, I seen one where they were getting close, and then they were like, it's legit Men in Black. Like, there's a black SUV sitting on the hill. There's two dudes standing there in black suits, like, observing. They come, they talk to them, tell them like, you can't be here, and they won't give any information. And all these. I mean, if these last 2 years have taught us anything, it's that conspiracies are a lot of times true. What's deemed a conspiracy theory or whatever, give it a few months, a year or so,
has some basis in truth.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite shows, I'm gonna be laughed at, but X-Files. Mulder's daughter, or sister, I apologize, sister, and that's like the whole premise behind his character. Absolutely amazing setup and stuff, and how many people out there are missing their sister, their brother, or whatever, for supposed kidnappings or supposed alien abductions. There's definitely people out there. There's definitely people out there that have experienced that. How much of that can you believe? How much is it truth? We don't know. There's no way to prove it. But I mean, it's crazy.
Well, maybe there is. Maybe there is now. Maybe that's why the government and NASA are like, all right, let's discuss this, because it may be to the point to where, you imagine, like you said, they're getting in front of it, right? Like any PR team would do, right? Like, they're like, okay, this is getting out of hand. We're seeing more activity. a million or whatever billion light years away that coincides with historical sightings, right? Like, I know they have this data, right? People
Yeah.
say, "Oh shit, I seen something in the sky," and then NASA's like, "Oh, well, there was some strange shit happening way over there." It coincides or whatever, and now maybe they're seeing more, and it's like, all right, we got to get out in front of this. And either way, I'm very happy for those people that have been ostracized and
Yeah.
mocked and ridiculed for believing this for decades now. And it's what, let's say since the 50s, and it's the 20s now, so we're looking at 70 years. That's a lot of
It's
vindication.
definitely, we bring that up. It's definitely far more accepted now to maybe, have a little conspiracy, right? Have a little belief in something that might not exist, right?
Right.
We're a bit more accepting in that now. I feel like maybe I'm incorrect in that assumption, but you tell people that you believe in UFOs or believe in aliens, and for the most part, I feel like they're like, yeah, I mean, me too, or sure, that's your belief, but it's not looked down upon. Is what I mean, and that's I don't know. As opposed to back then, where you were just written off and called a psycho.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what's his name's character in Independence Day, the pilot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, remember me when he gets back up in there.
Great movie.
Randy Quaid. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm genuinely curious. Please leave your comments in the comment section. I want to know. I want to know how many people actually do believe in aliens or don't. If you don't, tell me why. Yeah. So bringing things back down to earth. What's going on with North Korea right now, Christian?
Yeah. Our third topic for today is North Korea's ambition bid to launch its first spy satellite into space ended in failure on Wednesday, dealing a blow to leader Kim Jong-un's military aspirations amid escalating tensions with the United States and South Korea. Ryan, if this is a spy satellite, why are they publicizing it?
Probably because UFOs did it. UFOs probably shot it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, no, it's North Korea. They're trying to hide some stuff. It's clearly they're just playing the news game, the media game. They want to be ahead of stuff too, just like NASA. And yeah, but they also don't want to look like idiots. I feel like that's like the biggest thing with North Korea. Similar to Russia almost, like they just like, look at I always go back to the Chernobyl incident and how Russia handled the Chernobyl incident, and how like they just wanted to kind of clean slate, like wasn't our fault kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just interesting how they approached, specifically when it coming back to North Korea, how they approach this kind of stuff, because they have to be forward facing. They don't want to look like they're, could easily be toppled. Their government could easily be toppled. Yes, I mean,
apparently their satellite was downward facing. So
yeah, yeah. This is where we're at.
I think Kim. Is it own, right? It's own.
Yep,
Kim Jong-un. Obviously, the man lives in an echo chamber. He's being boosted. I imagine. I'm probably gonna catch shit for this, but I imagine he's like the slow kid in a group of friends. The group of friends being China, Russia, maybe Iran, and I can just. He's okay. He's probably like the Cartman of that group, right?
Yeah.
Right. He's just a little fat asshole that really can't do anything. Right.
You're gonna get hacked.
Maybe, yeah. But he does these things where like he launches missiles because he knows he has his buddies to back him up, and
yeah.
And honestly, I think the luckiest thing that ever happened to the the Kims, I guess there's the Kims, was that North Korea has like zero natural resources.
Yeah.
If they had If they had a drum of oil, this shit would not be happening.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they
only having not zero natural resources, they have zero trade.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you use to actually build up a country that doesn't have natural resources. You need
Yeah.
people to partner with it. The way that they're actually acting throughout
Yeah.
the years, throughout the decades, they don't want to play with others.
It's crazy how they want to seem like this military might. Right? They like put on a show of military might when, you know, half their populace is starving, literally starving to death. And the country is like literally in a shithole.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
complete insanity. It's complete delusion over there.
yeah, no, but I mean, it makes sense too. Like, you know, an outsider looking in, right? You gotta actually put on a show of force to an extent. But the way that they're going about it, I mean, come on, like more so a joke, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
nobody
kind
takes
of
them serious.
yeah, yeah. Well, other than themselves, right?
Right.
I think of all, I think Kim Jong Un definitely takes himself seriously.
Well, yeah. I mean, and they're like trying to think of an analogy. Like, have you seen that video of that monkey with an AK-47?
No,
Yeah.
Have you
no, I
seen
don't.
that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and
Um,
like they, I guess it's in the jungle somewhere of,
yeah,
I
they handed
imagine.
him the AK-47, right? And they were the people
Yeah,
were actually what he would be doing. Everyone
yeah,
was
it's kind of
actually
like a joke, and then he just starts letting rounds off, and I kind of feel like that's kind of what North Korea is. It's like, you know, he has these things. I don't know. China funds it, Russia funds it, obviously because they have no other source of income, right? This is all it's such a strange thing. It goes all the way back to the Korean War, where
Yeah,
you know, the forces or whatever, the Allied forces were pushed all the way down to the tip of the peninsula, and then what, I don't know, you have to watch the movie, whatever that one with Liam Neeson is in. They pushed all the way back to the 13th parallel and stop. Like, there's no, again, I don't, you know, conspiracies and deep state and whatever, Illuminati, George Soros, whatever. There's a reason why they stopped and did not completely eradicate that
the entire
movement
comment.
or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and you know, and then it just, now it's blossomed into this shit show where you have this maniac family that are incredibly dangerous to their people more so than anyone, but also neighboring. You know,
Well,
Japan.
it's wild to me how we. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're
But
good, but yeah, but like Japan, Korea, like they're always like, oh shit, what's North? You know, it's one of those type
what are they
things.
doing? Yeah, what are they doing
Yes.
over there?
Is that a missile? Like, Jesus Christ.
But it's wild to me how far they've come. I'll never forget back when I was in high school. I believe I was a junior. There was talk of like us going to war with North Korea, and I was in my history class, and I'll never forget this. I will never forget this. My teacher at the time, Mr. Orskevich, he tells us, yeah, we would blow the shit out of them. Like it would, you know what I mean? Like it would be a crater. It was like, well, like if we went to war with them, it's like, you know, it's not even like a fight, right?
Right.
Even still to this day, obviously. But to me, it's just crazy how, despite all the instigations we've had over the years since, nothing, not even a single, just like even potential, like want to fight, if that makes sense. Like, sure, there's been talk potentially of maybe something happening, but nothing. And, you know, even despite all of their efforts to make themselves seem this superior, mighty country, it's nothing's come of it. So like where my question is, all this might, all this military action for what? Just to like, I guess just to pander, essentially, just to make yourself seem as the superior force when you're not really you're not really doing anything really. You're just kind of again,
let's just
you look
play
like
the
a
game
monkey
of
with an AK.
hypotheticals.
What's
Let's
that?
just play the game of hypotheticals here. Like hypothetically speaking, if that launch was a success, would it have made any difference?
No.
No.
Well, no. Grand scheme of things, no. But
Hmm.
maybe it would have made them look a bit more superior, I guess. I don't know. Like it depends on because we're mostly American here, right? Philippines. But
Yeah. But the majority of the world has actually launched spy satellites before. This isn't a new thing, and for them to actually suddenly fail by trying it once, like
it's kind of
whatever
funny.
kind of
It is kind of
technology are they
funny
using?
Yeah.
in that perspective. Hey man, they're trying stuff.
Like
They're like
if you're a 90, if you're a
I-
90s kid, a flying toaster would be much more of a threat than their satellite.
they're like I don't know if you
Shout
guys
out to
get this
After Dark if
analogy.
anyone knows it.
Flying toaster. No. What, Chris? What, Chris?
I don't know if you guys get this analogy, but they're like Stuart from Mad TV. No,
Nope.
the,
Didn't watch Mad TV.
oh man, he's like a baby, but he's like a grown man. And be like, look what I can do, and he
Yeah.
does like a stupid ass little jump. Yeah, that's kind of like what North
That's
Korea is
North-
like. Hey, look what we can do, and it's like, oh, and it's fucking like, oh, okay, nice, neck,
They're doing
whatever.
the things in their means too. It's like this show of force, but like where's the force?
Mm,
Where's the action? Well, they're gonna do it again. Clearly, they're clearly gonna
yeah.
do. They're gonna try. It's like they failed this time. They're gonna keep doing it. And I mean,
Like
but
we're already
my
talking
Here we
about
go.
them losing natural resources. What budget are they pushing for this?
probably a lot of money.
Right?
Yeah, probably a lot of money. But I mean, again, with the famine, there's still a famine going on over there, and I can't imagine the living conditions are great. But again, I have no idea.
Oh man, if you want to know about that, check out Yunmi Park. She'll let you know.
Who is
She,
this?
she got a couple.
Yeah. I
Yunmi Park.
watched her
Yeah,
interview.
yeah. Check out
Yeah.
her. Oh yeah, she's a defector, man. She got a crazy ass story, bro. That
Okay.
story is insane.
Great insight. What's her name again?
Yunmi Park.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she made it to the U.S., but bro, I'm not going to tell the story for her, but man, that shit crazy.
Interesting. Oh, that's something.
Check out
Yeah.
her Joe Rogan
They
interview.
claim that her life is even being threatened even while in the US, right?
Yeah, she's afraid for her life now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Well, I'll never forget. We can't talk about North Korea, but talking about the James Franco and Seth Rogen movie.
Oh shit. Yeah.
where they hacked. They had what happened? They hacked movie theaters or something? No, they hacked. You guys can remind me because I don't remember.
They went there and met him.
Oh,
Or are you talking about like in the movie or
no? What I remember, so like outside of the movie, right? They like North Korea.
I think Sony planned for the movie to actually hack. So it was actually released.
Because I remember
Early.
this is like before even like streaming services were kind of they were probably still big, but I remember watching the movie on my laptop, not in a movie theater. Like it had to come out online because they couldn't release it like in theaters or something like that. If I remember correct, maybe I'm incorrect in my memory here. This is a while ago, but I remember paying to buy it or paying to like as if I was going to a movie theater, but watching it on my laptop because they had issues getting it out because of North Korea hacking them and stuff. My memory could be like fuzzy, but if I remember them having issues trying to get that movie out, and it's funny. It's like it's like the kid that can't take a joke.
yeah.
The funny thing is, with this kind of launch that they had, it could have easily been part of the movie, and none would be a bit the wiser.
Yeah, pretty much was, right? It's like I gotta watch the movie again. That's a good one. It's funny, but yeah. North Korea does its thing. Yeah, it'll keep going.
It's one of they're an anomaly of I feel like civilization, world civilization, right? It's just like I don't know, dude. Like, why do they get to do whatever the hell they want to do when it threatens? So it not only it's killing people first. North Koreans are dying every day in droves, and a lot of time for sport.
Yeah,
he shoots people with missiles, like point blank range with a missile. Like it's insane. Oh yeah, they have this law where like if you break the law or whatever, say you steal some shit or something, they punish generations to come.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you could be like a third, fourth generation prisoner because your grandpa
insane.
like stole a cow or something.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And then South Koreans obviously at risk constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like I was stationed at Camp Casey for I don't know 4 or 5 years or something, almost 5 years I think. And I was there when North Korea bombed or shelled that island off the coast of South Korea. I don't remember the year, maybe 2011, 10 or 11 or something like that. And we were on like high alert for like a couple weeks or something. And then Japan is constantly like, I think I've mentioned before, like I teach Japanese people English, and it's been a topic of conversation several times where like North Korea, there was an alert today and like it came across the news, like take shelter.
Damn.
I don't understand why they just
Fostering.
America will go and liberate a country in the name of whatever. Why not North Korea? Like, I don't understand it.
Well, it's unethical to one extent. Also, I mean, look at what happened with the war in Afghanistan. It's not like we were welcomed with open arms over there, even though we were, trying to help with,
right,
bring back their government and to, help them just in general. We weren't looked at very
not even close.
Yeah. Any of the so-called wars that we've been involved. I mean, Vietnam as well. Was similarly, that wasn't our war to fight, really. So,
right.
I mean, I totally get that. I totally get not wanting to really get involved. But there's also that level of, well, there's people dying. There's issues happening. That's the thing. It's like, can the world accept or look at the U.S. as this world police? Like, no, that's not what that's not like what we are, and that's not right. I mean, like, it just, I don't know.
Well, we used to be like, that's why you see a lot of times in protests, right? Foreign protests, like I think in Hong Kong, and there was another one I seen the other day. Anytime the population of a certain nation is protesting the government, they fly American flags. It's a symbol of hope, freedom, what people imagine should be the way that society is conducted or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is a tinge of America kind of is that guiding light or whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Not right now, because I mean right now we got it's like Weekend at Bernie's in the White House.
Yeah, what's more curious for me is that why hasn't there been any military coup in the past decades regarding this family? Like you already touched on where I actually live. In the case of waving the flag from the US when it comes to liberating people, people tend to forget that we also had a dictator here, and we actually overthrew him without any help from outside forces.
That's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. But this is just one family.
Yeah.
Like, are they just accepting what's happening, or
they
are
don't
they just
know
that much of a sycophant to just let this continue? Because if you see other people, relatives dying because of lack of food, lack of health care, wouldn't you actually just revolt?
They don't
try
know.
to put your that.
Yeah. Chris has a point
really,
with the fact that their media is controlled, like heavily controlled.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah, it's I don't know about every single person there, but for the most part, I feel like they believe that this is how the world works everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's kind of just the image that they painted.
How many people would, and feel free to tell me in the comments where I'm going to be wrong with this. Then that's no longer a country; it's a cult.
And I mean, that's kind of what North Korea. I mean, it's a lot of different countries are kind of like that. It's not just North Korea, but it's the easiest one to look at as an example. Yeah.
It's more like a prison state.
Yeah. Us Americans take our freedoms for granted, and we complain about a lot of stuff, and we're a bunch of fat asses.
Yeah.
And for sure, freedom is a luxury, and not every place can have it. Not every place can live like that. And yeah, I mean, I hope North Korea can right itself eventually. But to me, it's just insane how long it's gone on
Yeah.
without any actual outside military action, really.
It's
It's
almost
always a puzzle
condoned.
to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's always a puzzle to me who they think their enemies are. If you're gonna choose your enemies, they might as well be someone you can take on. I highly
yeah,
doubt trying to send spy satellites to the US or China would actually benefit them, since whatever they find, they can't actually use.
yeah. That's a good point.
Well, also, I think North Korea, for places like China and Russia, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like smoking weed at work, right? Like North Korea is like the equivalent of there's no CCTV cameras here. We can do this here. Like, so Russia pushes their people in there, do whatever the hell they want. China's doing whatever the hell they want. Weird ass science experiments, I'm sure. Because there's very, very, very little information getting out of North Korea.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you can do whatever the hell you want in there. And we already know of the atrocities that happen there because of people like you and me that managed to defect. And there's another gentleman that did the same thing, and he has a couple books. I cannot remember his name.
Someone actually came back with pictures about the state there, right?
Yeah, and that's what gets out, right?
Yeah.
Imagine what we don't know about. And like I said, it's they get
Exactly.
funding. It's like I don't know, it's probably like a fucking terrorist Airbnb, right? You pay Kim Jong Un however much money, and you can go do your weird science experiments there. And
It's not like it's
Damn.
just one island, right? There are two countries in one island. Like, it's not like they could just easily cross to the other end. Like, it's in a weird way, it's kind of impressive how they made that echo chamber an entire country that's
Yeah.
actually cut off from the rest of its land. Like,
well, it
it's
borders
like
China, right?
something from a
Or
dictator.
Russia. It borders
It's Russia.
Russia, I think.
Their border is Russia?
I think, yeah, because it's just a peninsula, right? So they border Russia. I'm pretty sure it's Russia, but it's like way, way on the end where like there's nothing but like cows and I don't know, potato farmers. I don't know what they have out there.
Yeah, they border, I think, China.
Oh, is it China?
Yeah. I think China is their major trade partner.
Yeah, China funds them.
I might
China's
be
keeping
wrong.
the lights on in North Korea for sure. Absolutely.
So it is known that I think that the failed launch actually crashed near the Philippines and China, right?
Interesting. Right.
Was it a splashdown? Did it crash into the ocean?
Did it make fart noises while crashing?
Probably. That's when it took off. It's like
Pretty much crashing the same. We're making a lot of fun of them. Maybe sooner or later they'll become superpower. Like,
No.
it was not long ago that people were actually concerned about him back when Trump was a president, right?
Yeah.
Missile could have been launched.
Trump
Rocket
shut
Man.
his ass down though.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, that
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And I think we're not going to get political here because YouTube won't let us do whatever we want to do when it comes to politics. But I've said this before that people right in the US, we have this idea of treating everyone humanely, ethically. Morality is a big thing. But you can't deal with people like Kim Jong Un the same way you would deal with like the president of France.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's just not the way. It's just not. So when Trump was in office, being as big a dick as he is, a brash and very blunt, that's how you communicate with dictators, right? They don't understand, like, well, we would appreciate it if you didn't say that. It's like, if you do that, I will murder you. That's what they know.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get through to them. Because if not, they're going to see you as weak.
Show force a little bit, right?
You have to.
Put your foot down.
Yeah. It's like a badass kid. I will kick you in the face if you don't sit down. And then the kid's like, oh, shit. Okay. Nobody's ever talked to me like that before. And not only are you aggressive, but they know you can back it up, right? The US is like, I think the word to use is like, I will rain hellfire on you that you've never seen it. And bro, that translates so well to a maniacal dictator.
Yeah. Well,
What's
safety might not be a major factor, right, for Facet for North Korea. But GM is certainly making a point of keeping its drivers safe. What's GM doing, Christian?
Yeah, very last topic of the day. A new safety feature is coming to General Motors production cars, and it will become standard for all the upcoming releases this year, with the first being the automatic emergency braking, or AEB. The feature will help users to avoid upcoming accidents by being the one to calculate or anticipate when to stop the vehicle to avoid collision. Ryan, will the NHTSA need to make adjustments to accommodate the new standard?
Probably for sure. How they're going to go about that, it's, this type of automatic braking stuff has been, topic of discussion for a while. And GM has made a point to keep its, driver safe for sure, but better than other companies. So I think they can definitely work with the NHTSA to make it, to streamline the efforts. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough getting it to market, getting it to work properly in their favor, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm reading up on
It's already been the AAB has already been mandated. I think it's pretty much a given that they will make adjustments for this.
Of course.
Like when it comes to traffic safety, I think has this technology been fully tested? That's why they want to make this standard for every car.
That's the problem is, okay. It does its automatic safety to stop, right? It stops. What about the people behind them?
That's kind of the thing. Like for me, man, as a driver, I don't want anything automatically happening
without your input, right? Your input is very much I don't know, especially when you're driving and you have other, like, the thing with driving is, like, it's not so much keeping you safe, it's keeping everyone on the road safe. So yeah, especially around places like Jersey and North Carolina where people can't drive for shit.
Right.
So no, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, man, I can't think of one feature on a car that I want to be completely automatic. And obviously, automatic windows, but it's not, you still got to push the button.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you still have control over that, right?
Yeah.
This emergency stopping thing, while innovative, definitely, and certainly might save lives, but it could also lead to major accidents if it's not properly implemented.
And driving is, especially, I mean, if like, you're from North Carolina, right? I'm from the hills of Kentucky, where rain, heaven forbid, snow, crossing mountains, oil slicks, like all this stuff.
That's a great point with the weather. How would this operate in nasty weather conditions? And
the last thing you do, the last thing you use on slippery surfaces is your emergency brake. You lose all control.
And even when it's raining, right? What do they say? At least when I was doing my driving lessons, you don't, you got to tap on the brakes. You don't slam the brakes when it's raining, and you got to slow down. And you're going fast. It's
better to, like, gear down. If you're driving, if you're in a manual transmission or whatever, don't use your brakes as much as possible. Try to just gear down. Let the engine do the work for you. So automatic emergency brake is that's tires locked up, right? This thing is on a cable. This is not.
Does it know like conditions like this, right?
Bro, I don't know
does it input that kind of information? Does it dynamically change like how it automatically stops, depending on like where they live, what kind of driver they are, who's around, like what cars are around, weather, these type of things. There's a ton of different variables when it comes to especially this, driving. Yeah,
This couldn't be any more different than the ABS, right? Like their ABS is having issues when it comes to the surface of the road, like gravel. It's gonna have a hard time. I think is a similar case. Like are people accepting of this change
probably not.
that they're going to be doing?
I'm not.
If it's like the ABS, there's an additional cost of maintenance for this. Like that's the one thing that's
definitely. Then that's
going to be an issue.
That's gonna be a major issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a add-on almost, right?
Yeah,
like
make it an option.
Yeah, like
They're making
you get the sports option,
and you get
the.
I don't think it's going to be an option anymore. If the department is actually going to be concerned by mandating it,
you have to wonder how much that's going to cut into GM's sales, their revenue. I wonder if people won't buy it just for that sheer fact that this thing's on there because they don't feel safe. Ironic, right? Ironic that like a safety feature may not make people feel safe.
we also have to take note about the wording of this news because it says it's the first. It doesn't say it's going to be the last. So this mandate might be across the board for everyone.
Well, I'm not a fan of mandates for the last few years now. So don't mandate shit on me. ABS, I feel like this is not in the same lane as ABS, right? Because like I had my first car, truck, whatever.
You can turn ABS off, right? Could this one be turned off?
What does ABS stand for? Automatic braking system?
Anti-lock brake.
Anti-lock brake.
Yep.
Yeah. So my first truck was like an 89 Chevy Cheyenne, step side, fucking sweet. And the rear end of it, like the rear end went out. So my grandpa loaned me a Pontiac Catalina that was like mustard yellow. I think it's probably like I don't even know, 400. It was a boat. And I'm going to work. I'm like a senior in high school. I'm going to work. There's a slight rain. I'm coming down into Middlesboro, and this car does not have ABS. So I end up in the middle of the intersection because when I hit the brakes, they locked, and it was like this, and I was so far into the middle of the intersection through the red light that I was just like, I guess I'll just keep going. Right. So
yikes.
The ABS in that situation, the brakes don't lock, right? The wheels kind of like, it's like you pumping the brakes. It pumps it kind of forward.
Gotcha.
Whereas the emergency brake is it's an emergency. Like you want everything to stop as soon as possible. And automatic emergency braking to me sounds scary.
Yeah. Like
wouldn't that cost tipping at that point?
It's getting all the way. You're going.
Or even like, what if there's a flaw in the system and it doesn't need to brake, but it brakes anyway? Does that make sense?
I feel like automatic emergency braking would be something that we get once autonomous vehicles are fail safe.
It's a whole conversation in and of itself. One day we're definitely going to like there will be a law against people driving cars because there's so many autonomous cars on the road. Like one day one of the sole reasons we get to work, get to where we need to go would be via automatic cars. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, it'll be statistically safer.
Yeah. But
I feel like we're just putting too much technology and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. We
remembered
unnecessary, man.
How much did we talk about AI today, right? and a lot, it's kind of scary how many people are willing to kind of let go, right? Let go of the driving wheel, let go of I guess their principles in a sense, like when it comes to just allowing technology to run their lives. It's like a, topic of discussion, like broader discussion when it comes to that. But in the sense of cars, I mean, look how much Tesla has come under fire with its automatic systems and stuff like that, and its failings with that.
Yeah.
We still have a long way to go when it comes to safety on the road. And while this seems revolutionary and innovative, I don't think it's going to really help long term.
Right.
Yeah.
Have we come to the point that we actually gave up on educating the driver and instead we just educated the car?
Yes. No personal responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, I feel like we've been over engineering stuff over the past couple of years just to cater that we don't want to learn anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think
Well,
it's like I mentioned
we're
last week,
lazy.
right? Like we're doing
We're
shit
lazy.
just because we can do it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. It doesn't have to be done. An automatic emergency brake is never needed. Like if you don't realize you're in an emergency, then that's on you, bro.
Yeah, I have a
These
question, Chris. How was the turn radius in that Catalina?
Oh, it's terrible, bro. It was a boat.
I had
It was a boat.
I had a Mitsubishi Eclipse. 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse was my first car. I love that car. But similarly, it was a boat. And that thing was like, I thought I was in Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah,
Like
you had like a
the absolute worst, like,
Iris, yeah. Yeah, you're
like, worst type of person, worst person to have a car like that. I just did not care with that car. But I still think, despite my stupidity and my I guess irresponsibility when it comes on the road,
right.
I could still drive better and still react far better than an AI chip or an automatic system can, at least in my opinion. Sure, the system might be faster, the system might be just a tiny bit better at reading situations, but overall, I think I have far better control, especially when it comes to just other people on the road, because clearly this system only, I said this before, but clearly the system only takes into account what's going on in the car. Like
Right.
does it take into account what's going on outside the road and all these other variables? Doesn't seem like it, and that's, I don't know, concerning, to say the least.
Like having installed automatic transmission versus manuals, did it make anyone any better of a driver?
No, no.
Right?
Well,
Maybe
I mean,
more. I don't know. More react. I don't know.
It widened
This.
it just made it easier as an entry, a barrier of entry
Yeah.
for when you want to drive a
Well, it's
car.
simplified driving, right? I mean, all you gotta do
yeah,
is put it in drive. Boom, you're good.
yeah. Like I've been driving since I was, well, I mean, if you count learning to drive at, 12 or 13, like in the field by my house, you know, but yeah, even before that, like on the back roads, my grandpa would, I was small enough to sit in his lap and he would let me steer. Of course he handles the brake and the gas and, even, learning how to shift. Like he would say, put it in second, and I'm on the passenger side and I would, reach over and, so that you learn the gearbox and things. So I learned from a very young age, and I've been driving for a long time. And as a young adult, I drove really fast. And knock on wood, I have never been in an accident.
That you can remember.
No, well, yeah. Well, there was those Xanax years, but but no, like I've never been in an accident. Like no fender benders. I've had a few close calls, right? Like I spun out one time in my truck going too fast down the mountain, but it was corrected and I was okay. So I feel like things like this, I say that to say this, things like automatic emergency braking and those type things are not needed if the education is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Personal response, like just drive the right way, man. It's not hard. It's not hard at
That's
all.
why They said, are we over engineering things just to avoid
For sure.
education?
I'll never forget, and this maybe it's a little off topic, but I'll never forget. You know, you speak to education in that sense. When I was growing up, you know, texting and driving was such a major issue, and a lot of the ways that they approached it was like putting it in your face, like you will die, showing you like accidents, like they showed us you know, accidents, like you know, like fucked up shit to you know, get you off texting and driving. Like this will happen. This will happen if you do this. And I know I know a couple of people that passed, that lost friends, and from just, you know, bad driving, just being idiots on the road. And would this system have made things better? Maybe for them. Like, would it have saved their lives? Maybe. But long term, it's like you don't really know everything that's going to happen. You don't know how the thing will react. What if it doesn't even like react in time? What if it doesn't stop the car fast enough? What if it's, again, the roads are slippery or something like that? What if there's something on the road that they don't know, like oil or something, anything, like not even just rain? Yeah,
I mean,
it's just like,
I would imagine this puts GM in a vulnerable spot.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What if you're in a collision?
Well, I'm sure it looks good.
And you say,
I'm sure it looks good PR wise. Like it like when it comes to like news, media, and stuff like that, it looks good PR wise. Like they're thinking ahead. They're thinking about keeping the driver safe. Yeah. But like when you really look at it and like try to think about it a little bit more and like, I don't know, break it apart, it's a little scary. A little scary if they don't really implement it the correct way.
I'm talking about more so on like a lawsuit kick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
liability.
It didn't work. Now GM needs to pay me, and I'm sure there's you know, ways of monitoring, you know, within the system if it worked or not. But still, I mean, you're adding another component that could potentially fail. Like, why would you do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like well, clearly to like show face, right? I'm sure it's a little bit when it comes to like the stocks, right? They're thinking about investors and stuff like that. I'm sure it's like a tiny bit to that, and they're consumers. They're actually people who like drive their cars. My question is, can this be added to older cars, like, you know, relatively newer cars? Like, can it be? Is it a software update? Go ahead.
This would just be for their upcoming fleet.
Gotcha.
Like, just to clarify to everyone, we're doing just speculation here.
Yeah.
Like GM still hasn't real details regarding this. It might be the next best thing since sliced bread.
Or it could be the Dylan Mulvaney of cars.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Automatic emergency brake. I'm buying something else.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said a minute ago, if it's an option, fine. If you want this, fantastic. Don't mandate it. Don't make me have to have this thing. Don't put it in. It comes standard in every car that you have an emergency. Can you turn it off like passenger airbags used to be able to do? That would be nice. I mean, I'm okay with that. If it's mandatory that it's in the vehicle, that's fine. But give me the option of turning it off or on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Kind of figured the main fleet that they would install this on, I think, are the EVs right now.
That makes sense.
It makes the most sense if they're going to be phasing out their gas guzzlers. So EVs would be. Jesus Christ. I know we're not going to be mentioning this, but do you think Elon Musk is actually looking into this now?
No. He no. It's like Tesla has its own systems and does its own thing, kind of. I'm actually surprised they don't already have some sort of safety precaution like this in place.
I think Tesla needs like automatic fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
More so than emergency brakes. It needs to have like a self extinguishing feature.
Extra airbags or something. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because earlier GM, I think, actually announced that they're partnering with Hyundai for South Korea for the manufacturing of their EV batteries. So it could be a thing that Musk is looking into right now, just not making it public at the moment.
Yeah, could be potentially. It's like
we did report in their leaks, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be part of it.
Yeah.
I think we also reported maybe on a sister site that South Korean women do not like working 65-hour work weeks. So that could be why the production is in South Korea, because they be working the shit out those ladies over there.
Oh my God.
Ajima be getting it, boy.
And we have our intro.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that's covers it, right? I mean, you guys want to round it?
I vote no on the AEBs.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really for it personally, but it's got to. There's innovation has to start somewhere, and maybe it'll lead to something that actually changes the way we approach driving. Safely. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's all we got for you this week. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and leave them down in the comments. Let me know if you guys believe in aliens and how much I hate Elon Musk. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.
You guys.
Bye, guys.